Slovakia Prime Minister Robert Fico's threat to cut off electricity supply to Kyiv won't work, Ukraine's Energy Minister Herman Halushenko said in a December 31st interview with Politico. Halushenko's statement follows Fico's declaration on December 27th that his government will consider halting electricity supply to Ukraine after Kyiv announced it would not extend the deal on transit of Russian gas to Europe beyond December 31st. Halushenko said that Ukraine could compensate for any disruption by importing electricity from Romania and Poland, and that Fico's potential actions will violate EU regulations. The statement echoed President Zelensky's remarks on December 21st, in which he directly addressed Fico's threat. So, truth be told, Slovakia is angry at Ukraine, or is not pleased with the decision that Ukraine made to cut off this Russian gas, or not to extend the contract or the agreement, of which Ukraine itself is losing 1 billion euros because Ukraine is being used as a transit channel, and Slovakia is losing millions of euros because it equally goes through Slovakia. You see, this is just retaliation. Slovakia is trying to retaliate that Ukraine denied it millions of euros is making as the transit channel, just as Ukraine. And they are threatening to cut off electricity supply to Ukraine. And he even threatened to cut off financial benefit or financial support being given to Ukrainian refugees or citizens that ran to Slovakia for safety because of the war ongoing there since 2022, sorry. So, at this point in time, the spokesperson from Ukraine is saying that it will violate EU regulations. You see, at this point in time, EU itself, the integrity of the EU is questionable at this moment. It's like everybody is watching. On one side, you have the issue of the EU denying Hungary the 1 billion EU aid money because Hungary refused to carry out the reforms, and there's a case of corruption that Hungary refused to address properly. So at this point in time, the EU have a whole lot of issues before it. And the cut of this Russian gas is equally another serious issue. And at this point in time that Poland is having the chairmanship of the European Council, Poland have a whole lot of works in their hands to do to resolve these issues as soon as possible. Yes, because we live in a world now that when you push people, it's only normal that you expect that they will react or they will retaliate, because people don't want to be bossed around. People don't want to be ordered around anymore. People are getting more wiser. People are beginning to understand their value to other countries. People are beginning to understand what they bring to the table. Unlike the analog ages we were living in, that most countries don't know what their worth were or their value or what they are bringing to the table. But we now live in a world whereby every countries are beginning to be wise. People are beginning to rise, beginning to understand both their local and international politics, and people don't want to be ordered around anymore. So, and you know, one funny thing in life is all about interest. So whenever the interest is not the same, that means there's a problem. There will be clashes. There will be conflicts. That, if not properly addressed, might even lead to war. So this issue between Slovakia and Ukraine is an issue that the European Union, every stakeholders in the EU must look into it and find an amicable way of finding a long-lasting solution to these their tensions. Because first and foremost, Slovakia trying to cut financial support to Ukrainian refugees, that is terrible. That is inhuman. Yes, it is not right. So they should find another way of getting back at Ukraine, not cutting aid to the refugees around to their country for safety. So the stakeholders in EU must address this issue as soon as possible.